talk to the smart long-term investor who's looking at their portfolio. Why do I need hedge fund in my portfolio? I mean, it looks like some make money, some lose money.
And as a whole, the industry has lost more than $200 billion last year. So it's not like the hedge funds at large are doing so well, but there are a select few that have had some of their best years in history. Take Citadel, for example, which not only had $16 billion in profit last year, they surpassed John Paulson with the greatest trades ever. And so single trades as well as larger funds have had amazing years. But what strategy, I think, is what you're asking here. What is a hedge fund? I want to take a listen here really quickly to Nassim Taleb, the Black Swan author who is famous for navigating these types of events. Because even in 2022, Universa, the fund that he advises, didn't have a favorable year. But this is what's ahead, as what he has to say.
We have more debt than we ever did in history. We have the weirdest valuations in history. And we have a lot more connectivity than we did before. So add these things up and realize that, hey, you know what? Disneyland is over. The children go back to school, and then make sure you're home. So now we're going to go back to New York.
It's a humbling time, but listen, I spoke to both Taleb as well as Jim Chanos, for example, who expects that over time corporate profits could drop another 50%. And so whether you're going short in the market, like Jim Chanos is known for, or whether you're buying options like Nassim Taleb, or whether you're cliff fastness and believe that trend following will get you there, there are a lot of strategies that are coming back to the surface now. And
at a humbling time, as you call it, we have a new leader at the top of the largest hedge fund, a new co-CIO for Bridgewater. Tell us about her.
Yeah, remember, Ray Dalio just stepped down from this post about 4 months ago, and he was co-CIO. But as he transitions, remember, there are 2 new CEOs as well at Bridgewater that started early last year, and this is their new leadership team. This is the big change. It comes at a tough time, David, because remember, I was talking about Citadel. You have Citadel surpassing Bridgewater as the highest grossing hedge fund firm of all time, according to LCH Investments. So Karen Carniel-Tambor will take them into this new generation. She's only 37 years old, but started her career there, being recruited there by Greg Jensen. I spoke to her a little bit about her view and how they're navigating this market cycle. This is what she had to say.
I think the Fed could tilt dovish in the near term relative to what's priced in, but it's very, very short-lived because at the end of the day, when you look at the basics of what's ahead of them, the Fed is going to face tough trade-offs. Over any kind of medium time frame, you're going to either have the economy slowing a lot more than is currently expected by markets. There's basically no earnings slowdown that's expected whatsoever. Or the Fed is going to see that they have to go back to tightening because they're not getting the inflation that they want.
So much of that is in line with what I was telling you about this kind of negative view that you had from a lot of these hedge fund firms. Now, whether she's right or not, that will really set up for this year, for Bridgewater, the success of this new team and the competition they're facing across the industry.